Hi everyone, this is our art history project and we're going to be talking about Roger van der Weyden and the Descent of the Cross. And this is Nina Ruiz.
Adrian Alegre.
And Nguyen.
So starting with the artist, Roger van der Weyden painted the work, The Descent of the Cross, in 1435. And van der Weyden was born about 1400 in the city of Tournai, which is present-day Belgium. And because of World War II bombings and the aftermath of the war, information on van der Weyden's early life is very difficult to find. But we do know that in 1436, he became the town painter of Brussels, and that was a very highly esteemed position. So here's some other paintings that are famous from van der Weyden. The first one is a portrait of a lady. The middle one is the Annunciation triptych. And the third one is St. Luke drawing the Virgin. Van der Weyden lived during the Netherlandish Renaissance. So during that time period, the church was the leading patron of the arts. So because of that, a lot of the art during that time in Belgium was all religious, and that's what influenced van der Weyden to create so many works of religion. The focus of his works, especially The Descent from the Cross, was to capture the emotions of people so that the audience would be able to feel the same emotions that he was portraying in his paintings. The patron of this specific painting was the Greater Crossbowmen's Guild, and they're represented in the painting by crossbows in the corners. So The Descent from the Cross is the painting that we're talking about, and the subject of the work is the body of the crucified Christ as he is being taken down from the cross. The body of Christ is the main focal point of the painting, and it's almost as if there's a spotlight being shown on him. You can see that there's other figures in the painting, and everyone is kind of crowded, but yet all the other figures are arranged around his body so that we are focusing in on him. And his body is also draped almost the full length of the work across, just so that we can clearly see him. Roger van der Weyden created this work as a panel piece for a church, and his main focus was to capture the emotion.
All right, guys, so now that we transition onto the question number 3, we are talking about the date of the piece. So the work estimated around 1435 after death based off the work style and influences from the elite. Now, the reasoning behind this is just that, based off his style, and when we're going about style, we're talking about the drapes, talking about the depth, and also as well as to just the request for the altarpiece, it had to be elegant, had to be very prestigious. And so that's what influenced van der Weyden on creating this piece. Did it have any historical significance at the time? Yes. There are new styles to the early Netherlandish art. A good example would be the reflection of the mystical devotion. And so, going back on the topic of having the drapes, having more in-depth colors, having more realistic faces, that's what inspired van der Weyden to have on this date. The painting was intended for international reputation. It also showed major influences, and again, in the hard sculpted faces, the realistic facial features, and vivid primary colors, most primarily the red, whites, and blues. Italy was a great period of panel painting for religious or altarpieces. And as you can see on the bottom, we also have some examples of paintings from the Northern Renaissance in the 1400s to the 1500s. Moving on, we also go to question 4, which is about the material and medium. So this piece is also known as a panel painting. It's a wood that's coated with a mixture of animal skin glues and resin covered with linen, and then after that, gesso layers would be applied. The panel painting is made of wood on wooden panels, prestigious in Greece and Rome. It's the key to this is showing, again, elegance, prestige, and true skill, because the donors wanted this as a pure altarpiece, and so what better way than to represent it on the panels. And it does matter because the preparation of the panel and selection of the tree is of the essence. Most artists wanted to use a very beautiful and very nice oak in order to really bring out the effect, as well as also preparing the panel to make sure that when painting, it's very smooth and very precise.
So with everything covered so far, I'll be mentioning the size of the painting. The absolute measure of the painting is 220 centimeters by 267 centimeters, which is 7 feet by 8.5 feet. While everyone in the painting is painted in the same size, it seems as if Jesus Christ is the central subject, and everyone is just surrounding him. The painting depicts Jesus Christ being carried off the cross after being crucified. Since this is a religious painting, Jesus Christ is painting in the middle of the painting, which signifies him to be the most central figure of the painting. Also, it is interesting how the pose of Jesus Christ is being replicated again in the pose of his mother. They both have the same posture of being sprawled out. This painting is also surprising in the way it is constructed. For example, most paintings are just a uniform horizontal canvas, but this painting is constructed in the form of a cross as well. In addition to the unique structure, the painting is also very large by the usual standards of the early Netherlandish pictures. And in the pictures on the slide, those are the other examples of other Netherlandish pictures. And the location of where the painting is now, it is seen at the Museo del Prado, Madrid. However, when it was first painted, it was designed as the central panel for an altarpiece, which was intended for the chapel of Our Lady outside the walls of Leuven, which was founded in the 14th century by the Great Cross Bowman's Guild. The first picture on the slide is a picture of the Cross Bowman's Guild. However, it was sold in 1798 and demolished soon afterwards. Acquired from the chapel by Mary of Hungary, it was displayed in 1549 in the chapel of her castle at Binch. Her nephew placed it before 1564 in the chapel of his palace at El Parso outside Madrid. Taken to the Escorial in 1566, it remained there until 1939 when it was transferred to the Prado. The painting's first audience were for the Greater Cross Bowman's Guild. They were the group that commissioned the painting. The audience perceived the work with the connection of the Guild's annual participation, the Kermi Omegang. The painting has always been held in high esteem because it is considered the most influential Netherlandish painting of Christ's crucifixion due to the emotional impact of the weeping mourners grieving over Christ's body. The original purpose of the body was to depict the expressions of grief on the faces of Christ's supporters and to depict what it meant to lose Christ through crucifixion. Though through the painting and the use of symmetry, spacing, and symbolism, the purpose still remains the same throughout time.
All right, guys, and that wraps it up. So thanks for tuning in, and hope you guys enjoy. And again, that was Roger de van der Weyden, The Descent from the Cross.